Hey, what are the card tubers? So when I did the video for this one, I kind of just had an afterthought after I was done, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? It's supposed to be rummage to knowledge, and I really didn't give much into the player's career on this in this video. We'll be following, but it's also, I wanted to just mention that the knowledge is also why I probably like to pick up their cards, or what reminds me to pick up their cards, or why I like the card, something like that. That's the other part of knowledge. So I just wanted to let you know that for some reason. It just was like, wait, I didn't really give any stats or anything, but whatever. But enjoy the video that's supposed to come next. Welcome into another video. I appreciate you stopping by on the Sports Cards Detour and coming to look at some of the cards that I picked up over the recent past. What I have for you today is rummaging through to knowledge. So basically that's where I talk about two of the cards that I'm going to be showing today, and the other ones are just filler. And what I have today is some basketball and some baseball. We're going to start it off with a prism of Anthony Simmons. And we have Christian Wood for the Pistons. Buddy Hield for the Kings. Quentin Grimes, rated rookie for the Knicks. Shout out to Victor Negron. Kevin Durant, winner stays. Gorgon Dragic on a Revolution. I like this card here. I like how the cards, the stars sparkle in there. Pretty cool. Luka Doncic, NBA Hoops. They got a double shot of D'Angelo Russell in school colors. And I thought I had a double shot of the now in trouble Ja Morant, but I don't. They just happen to be the same type. One's a campus ticket, one's a prospect ticket. Ja Morant in his college days. Here we have a Kawhi Leonard. Nice sparkly basketball looking card. Like the circles look like they're basketballs in a way. So I thought that was pretty cool. Premium stock. Got a Romeo Langford rookie card. Then a Josh Green rookie on NBA Hoops. So from a basketball card that I wanted to talk about, the player that I wanted to talk about a little was Gary Payton. Just going over, I don't know, a little bit of stuff. I know Gary Payton had a 17-year career. I think when I looked him up, in 1996 he won the Defensive Player Award, and he was the first point guard to do so. And it took until last year for Martin Smart to do it as a point guard, to get a defensive trophy. Usually it's centers and forwards upon that list, and that's pretty cool. I see him, like, I was thinking about Gary Payton's game when I was looking at this stuff, and I was just like, I think he was one of the biggest trash talkers in that he would have verbal jabs on anybody. Like, I remember the 1996 NBA Finals where he got put on Jordan, and it was just verbal jabs back and forth. You could tell. Of course, I also remember that Rodman was giving trouble to Brikowski and Sean Kemp and that. So that's just, but that's one of the things that stick out, like, about Gary Payton. He had like a bobblehead. He was like a bobblehead. Like, you just knew when he was talking trash, and it would just frustrate some players. And I think that's why
that's a little bit of part of why his defense was could have been good. It also could have been because he was also left-handed and he was able to shoot right-handed. So being left-hand dominant, I think that he's a little more inapt to swipe the ball with his left hand or right hand. So when him swiping the ball led to him being like 5th all-time in steals on the all-time list. So he wasn't like the greatest point guard to ever play, but he was a good point guard and one that really loved playing in Seattle. Like I know, I don't know if it's still true now, but at one point Gary Payton was like he doesn't want his jersey to be retired by the Oklahoma Thunder because that's not where he played. He played with Seattle. So I kind of commend that in a way. I think that's pretty cool that he has this loyalty to the city. Not many players have this thing where they have such a love for a place that they want to be remembered for that. So it's Gary Payton, winner stays. And on the back of this card, they're talking about the 2005 game. And I'll get a little close-up on that so you guys can read it. And give you a second to listen to the heater vent. All right. That was more than a second, but there's my one player for this round. Now it's on to baseball. All right, so we move on to some baseball cards, like I said, and we start off with a couple Phillies. We got Bryson Stott, rookie card there from last year's product. I also have Simon Muzziotti. I got a Shohei Ohtani, All-Star Game. Brandon Marsh. There's a Philly now. And Kiner Falefa. I also have a Mitchell Parker, who I know Mitchell Parker because I try and keep in touch with the Wilmington Blue Rocks, and he was called up last year to pitch for Wilmington, and that's the Nationals. It used to be Rockies, but now it's the Nationals minor league affiliate. So that's Mitchell Parker. Got a couple purple Topps Chrome cards like Taylor Walls from the Rays. Seems like they're all Rays. No, they're not. Vidal Brujan, rookie debut. Chris Bryant. And shout out to Steve there, a.k.a. Vintage Card Steve, because I know he's going to be like Chris Bryant is the one he has his eye on. Got a Montero, also for the Rockies, and a Chris Archer for the Twins. Also have one of these acetate cards. It's a magnitude of Arihara. So I like the acetates because you can put a piece of construction paper behind it. It could be blue. It could be red. It could be purple in the display. So since we have purple in the background, we'll put purple in there to show off that Arihara. Or at least that's how I think you say his name. All right, guys. So the guy I wanted to talk about today for the baseball cards wasn't really about his career, although he has a pretty solid career going. This is Ozzie Albies, International Affair, Curacao. So I thought that was pretty cool. Ozzie Albies is where Andrew Jones is from. There's somebody else from there, but now I just drew a blank as soon as I thought about it. Andrew Jones and Profar, I think. I think they're both from there, from the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Ozzie Albies already has 2 Silver Slugger awards and 2 All-Star appearances, and he has, much to my dismay, he has a World Series ring. So, but the reason why I wanted to talk about Ozzie Albies is he's my fantasy guy. like he's been my second baseman for fantasy. I'm gonna say over the 3 seasons, but last season he was injured, so technically 2 seasons. But he's been on my roster. He's been a keeper, and he's been like one of those guys that could steady get me the fantasy points, and that's why I wanted to talk about him. But as I followed Albies through fantasy, you know, you see him, you start picking up a little bit of his cards. Like, different things inspire why you buy cards, and having a fantasy roster for baseball is usually where it comes from. I had it for Goldsmith. I had it for, I can't remember, but they're in the back of my head. But every fantasy guy, like, if they're on my team for a certain amount of years, their cards keep on becoming, put them off to the side collections, and Ozzy Albies is probably going to be one. I have a few of his cards around, and I just think it's pretty cool. But right now, Marcus Semien took his spot, but Albie seems like one of those fun players. He's like the good, fun, supportive type of teammate. At least that's what it seems like in the photos and the cards. Him and Acuna, you know, they seem to get along well. But he seems to go about his business the right way. You know, not much is heard about him except for injuries, and he's usually a pretty solid bat for the Atlanta Braves. You have to give respect to where respect is due for certain players, and Ozzy Albies gets mine. His nickname is Poochie, by the way, and I thought that was pretty funny. I forgot to say, like, Gary Payton was the glove, you know, so I forgot to mention his nickname, but either way. So he's one of those, like I was going to say, he's one of those players that, as long as he's not playing the Phillies, I'll sit there and hope he does well. But this year, not so much, because he's on somebody else's team. Actually, he's on Victor Negron's fantasy team, so I'm not rooting for him right now. So here's my 2 players that we're focused on: Gary Payton and Ozzy Albies. One for NBA final that I remember, and the trash talking, and then Ozzy Albies because of the fantasy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time.
Well, thanks a lot for looking and listening, folks. I enjoyed being with you. So long, everybody.